workshop today. My name is Jory Emery, and I'm the Director of Network Engagement here at the Children in Nature Network. We are so excited for you to join us today for this workshop. Not only is it another opportunity for us to connect across our network, but we're just so excited to be able to share the content of today's workshop with you. It is the result of many months of planning and development for the launch of our new online community platform called the Trailhead. So we are going to dig into how to use it, how to navigate, how to connect with each other and make the most of this resource. I'm joined today by my colleague, Jamie Perez. Jamie, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
There, I'm Jamie Perez, as Jory said. I'm the External Relations Coordinator at Children in Nature Network, and I'm really excited, like Jory said, about this opportunity to kind of get everyone onboarded and figure out how to get the most use out of this awesome tool that we have now.
Thanks, Jamie. And Jamie is your front line for the Trailhead. We've been working very closely on developing this platform, and in many instances when you reach out for any assistance or support, it will be Jamie that responds. So just wanted to be sure you connected the face with the name there. So before we dive in, we're going to do a quick poll to see how many of us in the workshop today are already using the Trailhead. So Alejandra, could you launch that poll if it's handy? So the question is, are you already signed up for the Trailhead? Yes, no, and I'm not sure. We'll wait just another minute. We've almost got everyone in. I'm going to go ahead and end, and we can share the results. Can you all see the results? Sometimes I don't know if I'm doing the poll correctly, but in case you can't see them, 74% of you are already on, 21%, no, you're not on yet. We will get you on today. And one person is not sure, and we will help you to know if you're sure and get you comfortable using the platform. All right, so what is the Trailhead? Alejandra, you want to advance to the next slide? Great. The Trailhead is a new online community for the Children in Nature movement. It was created by Children in Nature Network, but we really see this as a resource for the whole global movement to increase equitable access to nature for children. We want this platform to be a destination for our whole movement to connect with each other, to share ideas, to learn, and overall increase our impact globally. The Trailhead is free and completely open and accessible to all Children in Nature leaders, educators, parents, researchers, and all other advocates across our movement. The platform is accessible on your desktop computer. That's the experience we're going to be looking at today. We're also launching a mobile app version that is optimized for using on your phone. So when that is ready and launched, everyone in the Trailhead and Children in Nature Network will be doing some work to be sure to promote that, the mobile app. So as we dive into the Trailhead, I'd like to start by looking at our community agreements for this space. So what we have on screen here are the community agreements for the platform. It would be wonderful if we could maybe take turns reading this so that it's not just my voice. So I'll get us started, and then we can just kind of, you know, there's not too many of us in the room. If someone wants to volunteer to take the next community agreement and read it aloud. Be sure to unmute your speaker or your audio. So the community agreements. The Trailhead is a shared space for civil, informative, and constructive conversation, idea sharing, and networking. We seek to build an anti-racist community that is inclusive, respectful, and kind. When joining a conversation or sharing information, please be respectful of others' comments and viewpoints. We reserve the right to remove comments or content that we deem to be off-topic, defamatory, rude, insulting to others, hateful, or reckless. Does someone want to volunteer to read our first community agreement there in bold?
This is Jamie. I can take the next one.
Thanks, Jamie.
On the Trailhead, we will stay curious, open, and respectful. We're mindful of the words we use and our impact in the community.
Does someone want to volunteer to go next?
I can do the next one. On the Trailhead, everyone has the right to feel safe and contribute productively to the dialogue, make space for others, and report content that needs staff review.
Thank you. Can we get another volunteer?
I can do it. Speak from your own experience. Use I statements rather than generalizations. Cite sources and share resources.
Thank you. And finally?
I can do it. No spam zone. We welcome promotion and sharing of children and nature-related events, trainings, jobs, etc. We do not allow the sale of products or services, disruptive sales, pitches, solicitations, and content unrelated to a forum or group will be removed.
Thank you. And then to wrap us up, by participating in the Trailhead, users pledge to uphold these agreements. Violation of these agreements may result in removal of content from and/or removal of access to the Trailhead. So I just wanted to start this introduction to the space with these community agreements. They capture our vision in some ways for what the community will be and how we address when content goes astray from that. So we will be revisiting these community agreements shortly as we look at the actual platform. Great. So how do you log in and access the Trailhead? This is a screenshot of the Children in Nature Network's homepage, and we've added a new button right to the very top of the page. So hopefully it's easy to find, easy to remember. So that red arrow there pointing to the top right of the screen, that will bring you right to the Trailhead. We will also be promoting the Trailhead in our Finding Nature news, emails. Hopefully you're all registered or signed up to receive those, and if you're not, there will be many opportunities to do so on the Trailhead, so you won't miss any of our Children in Nature Network news, as well as we'll be promoting the Trailhead on social media and soon on our mobile app. So without further ado, we are going to actually dive into the Trailhead. So this URL here is the URL that sends you to the login. This is the web address that comes up when you click on that Trailhead button on our website. And so this would be a good one to bookmark. And but if you don't, there will be many reminders on how to get there with links to this URL. And I think that we are dropping that URL in the chat too, so it's easy to find. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can you all see that okay? This is when you click, thank you. This is the login page when you click through on that URL. And if you are new to the Trailhead, you will click Request Invitation. And that sends you to a form, a very short form, just first name, last name, email, to request to join. And then we see that on the back end and we approve it. And then you have your profile is created and you receive notification of that. If you are already on the Trailhead, you can click login here, you can click login up here. And this is if you already have been, you've already activated your account. And so today we're going to look at an account that I made just for our workshop. It's a brand new account. And so we'll take a tour through the eyes of this brand new account. When you first land in the Trailhead, you are directed to our home page. And this is just sort of a welcome page. Some reminders on how to get started. If you land here and you don't really remember, like, what do I do next? Well, you can work on your profile, you can join a group, you can check out our Trailhead map and look at our upcoming events. And we will be diving into all of these things today, as well as we've got a reminder of those community agreements. They're right here, word for word. So the first thing we're going to do is update our profile. And if you go to the top right of your screen, that J is my first initial. That's the default. When you first log in. So this is the profile page. We're encouraging everybody to complete their profile as thoroughly as possible. It really helps to connect with everyone else when profiles are as complete as they can be. And you'll see why in a few minutes when we get into some of the filtering and searching that you can do. So we're going to go ahead and update my profile. We're going to add my profile picture. That's my dog, but I encourage you to not use your dog, to use your actual beautiful faces. But for the sake of the test, we're going to go ahead and use my dog, Quinn. And this cover picture is what shows up on your profile behind. So I chose a picture of the beautiful Sierra Nevada nearby where I live in Northern California. And then you have a chance to update some of your primary biographical information here. Location, this is set when you activate your account. So back when we requested to log in, one of the prompts after you log in is to identify your location. And so I chose Sacramento, California. Users on the platform don't need to worry about clusters. When you are looking at someone's profile and it shows a cluster, there are only two: Children in Nature Network staff and Children in Nature Network board. Everyone else is blank. And so that's just an easy way to identify if someone is affiliated with Children in Nature Network. It'll appear there. Let's see, I need to move. There we go. Okay. So we save. And some of these are required and some of them are not. Once you get into it, it'll become very obvious. So bear with me while it's saving. Sometimes when you're uploading images, it can take a minute to save. There we go. So now we've got my background, we've got my profile pic, and then we can dive into some more items in the profile. So about, you can create a summary for yourself. So if I was, for the sake of this test, let's say I am a K through 8 educator interested in green schoolyards. You can make it as detailed as you want, just a little something about yourself. Industries. These are fields that are pre-populated on the back end of the Trailhead, and they're kind of generic, and so you can choose. You just start typing education, primary, secondary. Is there anything affiliated with gardening? No. So you can kind of scroll through and see the things that are available to you. Skills, if you want to talk about any of your special skills or talents here, that would be this would be the place. So if I'm someone who's really interested in fundraising, you can add fundraising. I believe you can add grant writing and so forth. And then we do have a field here for your preferred pronouns. We encourage you to use this field, and it's not an either or. So I go by she, her pronouns personally. I could also add they, them if I wanted to. You could add all three if you want to. And then you go up and save that section. If we continue down, these areas of interest are populated by us on Children in Nature Network on the back end. And this is not an exhaustive list. We recognize that there will be more areas of interest that emerge. And if you see something, or if rather you don't see an area of interest that you feel should be on this list, please do let us know and we'll add it. We kind of started with a basic list to get us going. So if I wanted to say I'm interested in health and well-being, early childhood, and green schoolyard, I could add as many as I want. Education and experience, these are fields where you can add your work details if you so desire. Your organization name, your title, your position, and industry, and whether you currently work there or not. And then the same for education. So just filling out these fields to add more detail where you went to school. On the contact field, this, I do want to make note that when you log in, you see your email, but we have it set to a privacy setting where others do not see your private email address. Any information you put here is displayed to other users. So if you don't want to share your personal contact information, we advise you to be selective with what you add here. So that is the profile. I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions in the chat or if anyone wants to speak up. Just in general terms, I should have mentioned this at the start. If someone's having their own individual issue, doing something on their own profile, we can troubleshoot that after. But if someone has a general question, I'd be happy to take them. Jamie, is there anything, Alejandra, in the chat?
No, I haven't seen anything in the chat.
Okay. And there's opportunities to ask us questions both during this and afterwards, of course. All right, so we will move on from the profile section and move over to our menu. So we launched on the home page, so that looks familiar to you. Timeline is the next place we're going to look. And think of this, if you're familiar with Facebook and other social media platforms, this is kind of like your Facebook timeline, if that helps. It is open, everyone on the platform can see it. This is sort of the one spot where everybody can chat across the whole platform. And so this morning, I added a couple of icebreaker questions to the timeline, and there will be time at the end of this session for all of you to dig in and log into the Trailhead yourself and answer some of these questions. But so we've got just like a feedback timeline, things that we've added, things that you all have added, upcoming events, and then this list of recently active users. Next on our menu is groups. Groups are like the bread and butter of the Trailhead. This is where you're going to connect with people across different topics and thematic interest areas. And so we've got 7 groups right now. We will be adding more. And in fact, one of those questions I added to the timeline as an icebreaker is, what are we missing? We're definitely interested in hearing feedback about what groups people want to see on the Trailhead. And so for now, we've gone ahead and launched with these 7 groups. And I encourage you to join all of them if you'd like. You're free to join and unjoin at any time. You can check out, you can look at the group without joining, but you can't really participate in the content unless you join the group. But it's low risk to join and unjoin at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and join some of these groups, and I encourage you to also do so. So we see here a private group. I am not free to just join this group. I have to request to join it. This is for a really specific defined group of people that are working on a defined project. And so if this isn't relevant to you and you're not a part of this group, it's probably not a group for you. And but if you suspect it is, you can request to join, and that group administrator will just double check that you do indeed belong in that group, and then you'll be let in. So that's what the deal is with a private group. And just for fun, I'm just gonna go ahead and join all the groups, and I encourage you all to do so too. So when you look into a group, you just go to the group. And a group is kind of like a little microcosm of the whole platform. You've got a live feed, which is kind of like your timeline, and you can post. And we have some folks that have already posted in this group. You can see the members that are in the group. And do some searching to find members. And this is kind of where it relates back to your profile. The more complete your profile is, the more likely you will to show up in these search fields when someone is trying to search for people that are interested or in certain locations, work in certain industries, and then this area of interest is the one that's specific to Children in Nature Network. It is like a database. I should mention that. And so the whole thing feeds from the data that is entered into your profile. And then we've got the forum. And this is a space for some threaded conversations. If you think of like a message board that has different topics and threads, so you can kind of keep your conversations organized within a group. And right now we've got one threaded conversation happening here in the forum. And a lot of opportunities to participate and engage there. So that is groups in a nutshell, and we're gonna come back and do some fun interactive stuff with groups at the end of the session here. So we'll come back, but I'll pause again. And questions, comments about groups? Anything
Sorry,
in the chat?
Sandy asked in the chat, how does someone know if they should be posting on the timeline or in the forum?
That's a great question. And it's really up to you. It depends on the content that you want to post. Something that would be appropriate in the timeline is when you want to send something wide to the whole platform, to everyone on it. And so this would be more of like a general question, conversation. Also know that like a Facebook timeline, things kind of get buried after some time. And so it's kind of like a snapshot in time, if that helps. And it might, your comments may get a lot of activity. And then it kind of gets, you know, lower on in the feed. And whereas in a group, especially in a group forum, this would be the place to have longer threaded conversations that you can come back to. If you are trying to really work through an issue or work with you know, a group of people on a topic, you could start that conversation and keep returning to it in the forum. So hopefully that helps there. But it really does depend on the content. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on then to people. And this part of the Trailhead, I think is my favorite. This is super fun. It's very relational and a way to really visualize the network. So this is a totally responsive map that grabs people's locations based on where you are located in your profile. And as you zoom in, you know, so say I'm in California, I want to see who else is in California nearby. I could just keep zooming in. And yeah, so you could really keep zooming in. So that's kind of a fun way to see the visual. I'll zoom way out and you can see that we are indeed a global platform. We have users already in a good handful of countries, strong concentration in the US, but we're starting to see more users sign up from other countries as well, which we're very excited about. This product, the Trailhead product, is based in Europe. And so all of our support comes from support people in Europe. And so they really built this platform to meet a global community engagement need. And we felt like that was really important to us at Children in Nature Network. So you can keep, I'm moving the map too fast. But it just keeps loading and you can see where people are all over the world. If you want to get really specific and search, if you don't want to do the zooming, you know, you can search by location here and it'll populate the folks that are in your location search. You can also choose more filters. And this is where it searches against those fields in your profile, including this areas of interest, which I think is probably going to be the most relevant to our audience here. You say, well, I want to know everyone that is interested in early childhood. 23 users have marked early childhood. and then you could see them on the map, or you can search for them by location. And so we, at Children in Nature Network, we receive a lot of inquiries about who in my area, can you help me connect with someone in my area on the East Coast who is interested in green schoolyards? And so in days past, we've had to do some research and try to help make those connections. And so what we've built here is a place for everyone to be able to see that themselves and to do the searching themselves, which is really, really handy. Any questions about the map?
I do, actually. This is Sandy. I don't see myself on the map.
You're not on the map?
No.
Maybe there could be something with your location. We can support you after. Yeah, everything is based on the location.
Say a city and you have to say a city and a state, or if you just say a state, it won't pop up.
That's a good question. I don't know that we've encountered that one yet. And that may be a response that many of you hear when you reach out to us for support, because this is a brand new product for us, and we've been learning all about how to build it and use it since the spring. So Sandy, we'll research that, and let's connect. If you want to connect with Janie at info@childrenandnature.org, we'll figure it out. Anyone else? Okay. So the final item on our menu is events. And right now, these are events that Children in Nature Network is populating into the system. These are events that we're hosting. We invite all of the users on the platform to share their events with us, and we can post them for you. And down the road, we'll be launching or opening the ability for people to post their own events. We're not quite there yet, but we would love to see some other events from all of your organizations here in this list. So that would be something that you share with Janie at Children and Nature, info@childrenandnature.org. And just a quick plug, we have some encores coming up for the fabulous conversation that we hosted a few weeks ago with author Heather McGee and her mother, who's on our board, Dr. Gail Christopher. And we just listed these, so they're very exciting. If you missed that event, I encourage you to sign up for them. So we have a few other things to look at. You might be wondering what these icons up here up top are. The plus is a quick way to write a post that would appear on the global feed is our that timeline section. So that's the plus sign. This bell is your notification. So if somebody tags you in something, if someone comments or likes a post that you've posted, it would appear there. And then this little chat is direct messaging. So you'll remember that I mentioned when we were looking at the profile that your personal emails are not listed when you sign up. However, there is the ability to have private messaging within the platform. So you can reach out and connect with people without having to disclose your email if that's what you'd prefer. So we've kind of taken the full look around the whole platform. I wanted to draw your attention to one more thing that brings us back to the community agreements. And this is a platform that invites and requires community moderation. So what that means is if you see something that you believe is in violation of the community agreements that we all have agreed to, there's a way for you to flag that for staff at Children in Nature to review and address, whether it's to take down the post or to work with the person who posted it to better understand what was going on with something that might have been near or gray area in violation. So that would be just a real quick instruction on how to flag something if you feel that it needs review by staff. You just click on these 3 dots next to any post and say report this content. And that flags it on our end and we'll take a look at it. If someone on the platform is posting content that is not in violation, but it's just not up your alley, it's not content that you're interested in, you can hide posts from any given user if that's something that you feel you need. So that's moderation. There is some fun, like they call it gamification with the site, and that adds scores to all of the engagement that you do on the site. If you complete your profile, you get points. If you post content or like or share content, you get points. And so we have a leaderboard that we can see who's engaging the most. And so know that there's some tracking of our most highly engaged users on the site. And from time to time, we will be glad to do some prizes and things like that. And those sorts of promotions will be announced on the site throughout the year. And so we actually have a little game that we'll play for the remainder of our time. We've got about 20 minutes left. And so we're going to play a Trailhead scavenger hunt. And I've dropped in a few posts where I'm inviting feedback. It's an icebreaker. And so these are these posts from Jory Emery. That's me, that I posted just before this workshop. And at the end of the day, we're going to check the leaderboard and award a prize. And that prize is going to be a Richard Louv book of your choice. And so we would be excited to share that prize with whoever is our leaderboard champ at the end of the day. So as a test, we're going to take like a 3 to 5 minute break. I'll still be here, but for those of you who need to log on, we're going to be moving. Everybody, go ahead and log into the Trailhead yourselves. We're moving away from a facilitated tour and into actually all of us being on the Trailhead ourselves. So feel free to minimize your Zoom window, navigate over to the link in the chat. If you have not already logged on, request to join. If you have already logged on, go ahead and get back in. And so we're going to go ahead and everybody navigate to get onto the Trailhead. I'm going to minimize my window. Or actually here, I'll stop sharing for a minute. We can get a sense of, are people in? Are you still trying to get in? And Janie has dropped that link in the chat several times too. Yeah, and please feel free to speak up. if you need any help. Sandy, you are asking a great question here. How will you be encouraging all the folks who signed up on the platform to post and engage on it? That's a great question, and that's one that we are working on right now to encourage good quality content on the platform. We did just launch the whole thing on June 11th. So we're under a month in on having this live. And we've invited all of our Children in Nature Network members to join. And then we opened it up for everyone across the whole movement to join. So we're in the early stages. And it's just going to become a part of our promotional plan and our engagement plan as an organization.
Jory, if I could add, the product is just going to get better the more people we have on it. So this is not in any way exclusive. If you find it useful or helpful in your work or know someone who would, please share it, spread the word, help us grow that map so that when people search for an area, they can find people near them. They can find people in their field of work.
That's exactly right.
So my question is, with other social media like Facebook, you can sign up so that you get alerts, on other platforms. So to your email, to your text message, is there a way to do that so that people, otherwise you might forget to go to the platform if you're not kind of reminded in the beginning?
That's right. So there are digest emails that recap group content. And I think the default is that people receive those on a weekly basis. And so those would come to your email and be like, here's what's been posted in that group that you belong to this week. And it's kind of a nice reminder. And you may notice, conversations are happening that you didn't see the last time you were on. And so you're reminded to go check it out. So there are some things built in that automatically happen. And then there are settings in your group to change how frequently you receive those emails. Yeah, great point, Shelley. Reminders digest would be great. A notification, yes. And so there's a lot of different settings as far as how frequently you receive notifications.
So I think we are going to go walk out there. I think it's better to do it now sooner rather than later, because this is probably the coolest it's going to be despite it being hot.
I think we may have someone that just unmuted. Was that for us? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen again. And I know y'all have been working on getting into the platform. We're going to do the first icebreaker engagement all together. So if you see on the screen, I've brought us back to groups. And I'm going to go ahead into early childhood. And I've already joined it. I encourage you all to join it. And if this group isn't relevant to your work, you can unjoin it later. But for the sake of our workshop today, I encourage you or invite you to join the early childhood group. And I've got an icebreaker question that I'm going to copy in. We'll say, this is a group icebreaker. What is your earliest memory of connecting with nature? And so now all of you that are in, you can be sure that you go to groups, join the early childhood group, and then you'll see this in the live feed. And go ahead and comment. And this may be a question that people want to reflect on a little bit, but for the sake of the workshop, your response doesn't have to be perfect. Are folks having success navigating to where we are as a group here together? Maybe you're thinking about what you want your response to be. So I just had to refresh my window to see this update. So we've got 6 comments. Climbing trees, playing with roly-polies. Kathy, Jordan. What a risk taker.
Yeah, I'm a rebel, aren't I?
Mine is making a tree fort. At the end of my street. I'll refresh again and see if I'm catching anyone else's responses here. Any comments about this while we're doing it? Fisher Price, Little People, classic. Great. All right. So for the remainder of our time, there's a little bit of time left in the hour, and I invite you to spend it searching for the questions that I have dropped around the platform. Some are in the timeline, some are in groups, and so you'll need to join the groups to see where all the prompts that I've put in for our scavenger hunt are, and to respond to as many as you can, and we'll see who's on that leaderboard at the end of the day. We'll close it at the end of the business day. So if you don't get to it in the next 10 minutes, if you want to return to this, please feel free to. I invite you to come back often. Let's see. So that, sorry, I'm moving all my windows around from sharing my screen. So that wraps up our tour of the Trailhead, and I hope that it's been helpful and that you all feel more comfortable navigating and using the space. As we just discussed a few minutes ago, it'll be more productive the more quality content we get in the platform. So please come back often and share and connect, reach out to people that you don't know yet, and try to make some new connections to support the work that you're doing. So thank you all. Any final questions before we drop off? I know you're all probably very busy doing that scavenger hunt already.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Go for it. Yep.
This is Mike Barnett. Can folks on the outside find people on the Trailhead, or do they need to be members of the Trailhead to find you on Trailhead?
You need to be a member to access that map and to search. And that's just a security privacy thing that we set up.
Thank you.
But it is free and open to everyone. So, if you have coworkers, colleagues, partners that you think would benefit from this, please do share and invite them to join you on the Trailhead, to join us all on the Trailhead.
Can you drop that link in there to sign up? Oh, there we go. Thank you.
And remember, there is a shortcut button on the Children in Nature main website too. So if that wraps us up on questions, one last chance. Although it's not your last chance by any means, we are totally available to you and hope to see you on the trailhead frequently.
I have another suggestion for a group. I don't remember seeing in the group list when I first got on if there was a Family Nature Club group. I don't believe there is.
There isn't, but there will be soon. We are doing some work programmatically. We have some new staff that are breathing some new life into our Family Nature Club. And so all of that is coming in the coming months.
Great.
And there will be a group for it. But great question. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Please feel free to stay logged into the trailhead and continue working on that scavenger hunt. And we'll see you on the trailhead.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.